everyone. This is Matt Haywood from EntertainmentBuddha.com, back with another Buddhacast. And I've got four of my friends with me from the site, and we're here to talk about PAX South and other random shit. That will be the title and the theme of today's episode. So we actually have a new voice on the line. You have not heard this gentleman yet. He comes from across the pond. His name is Mr. Owen Hibbert. Owen, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you very much.
It's great to have you. We always try to have that more refined sounding British accent on every podcast because we know it takes up the level just a few notches. So we appreciate it. Plus, you got that nice deep voice. So, and if everyone could see it, or just go on the site and check out one of Owen's posts, he's got a bitchin' afro too. So, is that thing still growing, or have you whacked it yet?
It's always growing.
Always growing. All right. It's kind of like my beard right now because I can't grow any hair on the top of my head, so I do it coming out of my face.
Seriously, my dog is like driving me crazy.
Yeah, if you hear that, that used to be Anna. Right now, her dog is actually sitting in her spot, taking over for the podcast. So, how you doing, Anna's dog?
I'm doing great. I mean, obviously, it doesn't sound like me, but yeah.
All right.
And
You're practicing on your cartoon voices or something.
I believe he was addressing Anna's dog.
Yes. Can we get one bark for yes, two barks for no? Does she have you locked in a closet?
And of course, she doesn't even respond to that.
All right. So we also have one of the co-hosts of the infamous, no pun intended, Puntcast, if you will, Justin Ludwig, hanging out there in the snowy reaches of the eastern part of the United States. How you doing, Justin?
Yeah, there's not enough life out here to fill a space cruiser.
Got it.
Star Wars jokes, anyone?
I missed that one, and I'm kind of embarrassed because I consider myself a Star Wars junkie. So,
but you got time to catch up before 7, 8, and 9.
Yeah, hopefully those are good. Anyways,
then you got to dress up, hang out outside the theater the day of.
Oh well, I mean, I'll be honest. When the prequels came out, I was pretty fucking jacked. I mean, I was 19 when the first one came out, so I had high hopes and.
Did you wait outside?
Oh yeah, I had a Jedi costume. I did a little. That was my first foray in the cosplay for sure. Stood outside with a lightsaber, looking like a jerk off, getting interviewed by the local news. But it was a good time. I was young, dumb, and full of cum, as they say. So, and our final co-host, if you will, is Mr. David Seaver, coming over from the west side of the country. What's going on, David?
Make it sound like I'm in the ghetto.
Yeah.
In the ghetto.
What up?
In the ghetto.
He's out in the desert somewhere.
Yeah.
Looking at
where it's actually
cactuses.
pouring rain right now out of all times.
Cacti. Are they cacti or cactuses?
Cactus's eyes is where I like that.
Okay. That works for me. So, like I said, people, we're here to, I attended PAX South last week, which was going on this time last week in lovely San Antonio, Texas. First and foremost, if you've never been to San Antonio, I highly recommend taking a trip down there because it is just a fantastic little city. They have this thing called the Riverwalk, which kind of etches its way through the underbelly of the city, somewhat like the canals in Italy, obviously not as old school looking and refined, but similar flow. They got little boats going on, but all alongside the river, you got restaurants, bars, and all sorts of fun shit. So that's where a lot of the parties were hosted at PAX South. But in general, just love the town. Have any of you guys ever been to San Antonio? Obviously, probably not Owen, but how about statesider?
Well, why would Owen have never been there? Don't jump to conclusions.
Yeah. All right. Sorry. Owen, you ever been? You ever been?
Never been anywhere near America.
Well, anyways, like I said, if you guys ever have the means and the funds, definitely check it out. There's always PAX South next year as well, so sometime in January.
Is there like a signature food dish for them?
Mexican.
Or barbecue?
Yeah, I mean, brisket, steak, anything that's Texan, Tex-Mex, steak, meat. I went to one place called, it's a Charlie Wants a Burger. It's kind of like a sports bar type of place. It's pretty cool.
That sounds good.
Now I'm getting hungry, so let's move on. Oh, and the Twitch party was at a place called Pat O'Brien's, which I guess is somewhat famous there. And it was huge. It had a bunch of different rooms and shit. But the Twitch party was the definition of a sausage fest. I mean, I'm happily married and everything. It's not like I'm out there, looking for chicks, but sometimes it's nice to look at the scenery, and it was nothing but dudes.
Isn't that the opposite of like what the Twitch community is? Isn't it like a bunch of girls?
Is it dudes after dudes after dudes? I mean, tons of them. A lot of the famous guys. I mean, Jeff Keighley was there, Redbeard. I think Sessler walked through at one point, but
that's
it was
awesome.
Very dude heavy for sure.
See, I couldn't be there because I would have just jumped on Sessler and like given a bear hug till like security just came out and escorted me.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people are huge fans of Sessler. I don't know. I'll reserve my judgment. I've met him met him a couple times. He's just a guy like the rest of us, but very knowledgeable, good on camera. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he's good at what he does, but he's a little guy. I'm a little guy, and he's smaller than me, which is impressive. So. Anyway, so that's kind of the venue. As far as the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center, where the show is actually held, it's a little bit smaller than what you may be used to at PAX East or PAX Prime. So East is in Boston, Prime in Seattle. And I'm not complaining about that. There was almost no AAA presence whatsoever. The only AAA to have a decent-sized booth there was Nintendo. They were there shilling the new 3DS XL. They had copies of Majora's Mask 3D and Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate to play around, plus some other 3DS games. But outside of that, that was it. There's no Ubisoft, no EA. Microsoft had a joke of a booth. I mean, it was almost like Microsoft Education. It was not. It was not the Microsoft, the big green one that you associate with gaming. There was no 2K. Nothing. So it was all indies, which is great. I mean, there's nothing wrong with indies. I think we've all learned to appreciate the movement as it's taken off these past 5 years or so. So that was pretty much it. Indies, and then there was a huge tabletop section if you're into board games and shit that actually requires physical movements, and you have to be smart and stuff. So
I mean, some real thought, not just pushing buttons.
Yeah, not just hitting buttons. They had a lot of good toy vendors too. I'm not gonna lie, I got duped into buying this plushy claptrap that
I saw the picture of that. I'm insanely jealous that you have that.
Had to have it. I also bought 2 seatbelt belts. One looks like Batman's utility belt, and the other one has like a bunch of chibi looking Avengers around it. So I managed to piss away plenty of cash on knickknacks.
No Funko stuff?
I bet they charge bomb memory.
Justin, honestly, they did have some variants that I do not own, and they were going for a decent price, but we only brought carry-on, and there's no way I was just going to smash the box and shove it in.
They have decent prices, really.
Listen, when we're around Matt, we don't mention the F word, okay? We
don't bring up his addiction.
Do it.
I don't know. I spent about an hour and a half of my morning going through and adding all the newly announced ones to my wish list, because I mean, we got Matrix now. There's going to be Evolve. There's the Avengers 2.
Frozen.
The second round of Guardians.
So good.
Yeah, I'll stay away from a lot of the Disney stuff. The only Disneys I've gotten into are Wall-E and Eve, just because that's a beautiful film that made me cry.
Kind of
Do you keep track of them in Excel like my comics?
I do. There's an app called Toy Collector for iOS that kind of has all that stuff in there. So, anyways, let's get on to the games of PAX South. So like I said, not a lot of AAA going on there. There's Nintendo stuff. I did play the new 3DS XL. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you've gone with the first 3DS to the XL and now you're debating the new one, you may want to wait. It all depends on how important the 3D and the visuals are to you, because that is the most drastic change between the XL and the new 3DS XL is the 3D. I mean, the 3D works finally, thanks to this new face tracking system. So those of you that have a 3DS, if you had the 3D on and you just slightly tilt it in the wrong angle, it gets all discombobulated looking, and you feel like
it's as bad as them pictures make it, though. Like, if you're comparing it, like you see a picture of the new 3DS and then the old 3DS, comparing like the 3D.
The 3D isn't even comparable. That's how much better it is. I mean, I'm telling you right now, I have an old 3DS XL. I'm looking at it right now. The minute I slightly change the angle to the side, the 3D effect's gone and it's all blurry and crappy looking. On the new 3DS XL, I mean, all of us were just sitting there turning it back and forth. And I mean, you can almost see it at like a 45-degree angle. It still maintains the 3D, and the resolution is a little bit more clear. So, like I said, if 3D's big, graphics in general big, you're probably going to want to upgrade because this thing's faster, 3 to 8 seconds, depending on the games between loads. That new C-Stick nub, as dumb as it may look, it actually comes in very handy for a game like Majora's Mask 3D, thanks to the ability to kind of wrangle the naturally shitty camera in the Zelda games.
Yeah, but that's my question: is how important are these extra inputs going to be? Because you'd imagine that they're going to make them, put them into the games like Majora's Mask. You can move the camera.
Well, that's what I was saying. If you use Majora's Mask standard camera, it's a fucking mess. I mean, it gets trapped behind you. You can't really get a full 360 panoramic view around yourself. So this little C-Stick allows you to more or less just take over the game's camera and do a full 360 spin around. So
does it feel awkward?
I found that no, not at all. I mean, it's placed just above the face button, so he can reach it fairly easily. And then they moved start and select to actual buttons and not on the below the touchscreen. So
that's good.
So like I said, if you're going, hey, what should we do? Should I get one? If you've been rocking the original 3DS, without a doubt, I wouldn't even think about it. Get the new one. If you're rocking an XL and you have an extra $100 sitting around and you don't mind trading in your XL, I would still say go and do it. If you don't have one, period, you've been waiting, this is now the time to go grab a 3DS.
Yeah, put down the Game Gear, get a 3DS.
Good old Game Gear.
Well, luckily my husband was able to order the Majora's Mask one, so that's all he wants.
Did it get canceled? Did he get it through Best Buy or?
Well, here's the story behind that. So when it was announced, he was watching it all day. And then we were going to go to GameStop and we were going to do the whole trade in the Vita for $100 because I don't use my Vita. So I was like, well, just sacrifice mine and you can get it. So, well, what happened is that GameStop, they actually look it up on their website, and from the moment it was announced, within 40 to 45 minutes, they were sold out. And then they were showing in stock, they were showing out of stock. So we were like, fuck it, we're not even going to waste our time doing that. We'll check Amazon and Best Buy. So we were checking and nothing was showing up. And then all of a sudden it showed up on Best Buy, and he did it. He ordered it and everything. And then maybe 20 minutes later, I think Kotaku reported that Best Buy had it. And I think after a certain time, if you purchased it, then it got canceled. So luckily his didn't get canceled. So he's still getting his. So I'm like, okay,
all right. Well, we'll be expecting the, who the hell's playing with Siri?
my phone is
Hey Siri, welcome to the podcast. Do you have anything to share on the 3DS XL? How you doing?
I'm just trying to turn off my phone.
Can you tell me how to get to B-dubs tonight?
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean... go ahead. Who was
in the UK for it? The supplies were quite high. And
then my dog's in the background sneezing. So one was barking, now one was sneezing, and then Siri wanted to join in the conversation. Yeah. So my house is just a circus right now.
It's a regular old clusterfuck on the good old Budacast.
Seriously,
it wouldn't be the Budacast without some distractions and other random sounds coming out.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Guys.
Oh, and you're right. I mean, over there, it seems like you guys could get it pretty easy. I mean, that was our biggest beef. We're all going, well, why the fuck does the UK have this unlimited supply? And, we can't get it, and there's people stabbing each other trying to, get it early at GameStop, and people are threatening to burn down Best Buy because their orders are getting canceled. So
I think it was really shitty how it all just happened in general, from GameStop to Best Buy to Amazon to everything, because even when the Majora's Mask Special Edition was announced with the statue and the guide and the game, I mean, those were gone from Best Buy. I mean, not Best Buy, from GameStop within minutes. I mean, and it was like...
Well, I mean, ultimately, that's Nintendo's fault. I mean, they're the ones that kind of let these outlets know how much supply they can expect to get. So
the only place that the UK can buy it from is Nintendo. Can't buy it from anywhere else.
I don't know. I mean,
pretty shitty. at this point, Nintendo's pretty much just sat back and said, fuck it. We're only going to do our games. Everything else sucks on our system. No one gives a shit. So why would you not? I mean, especially for a Zelda game on a new console, why would you not just make shit tons of them?
I mean, I'm sure they know that the fan base when it comes to Zelda is more than what they expect. So I don't know why they were stupid enough to think that whatever they release for pre-order or pre-purchase or whatever these retailers are calling it, like, come on, like, seriously. Like, you have people who are, people who are in their 50s, who still like Zelda. They're going to go out and get it,
True.
Yeah, but
I
they've
mean,
been doing that with Amiibos
Geezer's
too.
taking all our units.
I mean, my husband is 32, and I mean, he has his, he still has his stuff from Game Boys, from Nintendo. He has the Game Boy Advance Zelda. He has a 3DS Zelda edition. I mean, he has every Zelda edition that there is of every fucking console. And if he didn't get it, I swear I was never going to hear the end of it. So I was like, you have to get it. I mean, I know what it means to you, so get it. I don't care.
Hell
Go for
yeah.
it.
Well, we need supportive women like you to feed into our habits.
I mean, he kind of like feeds into my obsessions with like, Gears of War and like BioShock and Assassin's Creed. So I can't fault him.
It's give and take.
Fault him at
Like
that. Yeah.
my wife essentially said, okay, you get the basement and that's it. Don't ask me anything else. Whatever you can fit down there, do down there, that's fine. That's your layer. So
yeah.
I'm cool with it. That's why I've got probably 20 toys sitting around my computer screen at this point, plus 2 other rooms full of them. So
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, really, is anyone? What's that?
Yeah. If you can't get the 3DS XL, just wait for the N Gauge because I'm sure they'll make more games for that eventually. It's doomed to happen. Yeah.
Or just buy an Ouya and emulate the Game Boy Advance.
I loved your post on that the other day. You're asking if anyone has the Ouya still.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I finally, over the Christmas break, got mine set up to do some emulation.
That's what I've heard is really good for emulation. Right.
Yeah. But all the ROMs I'm using are games that I own. Okay? No shenanigans over here.
Was there a wink?
All right,
wink
so
over
that
there?
was Nintendo. Another cool thing at Nintendo's booth, and again, I'm a noob with this franchise, but Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, I'll probably be picking that game up. I've never played a Monster Hunter game, never even cared to look at a Monster Hunter game. I just thought it was one of those weirdo Japanese type of
It's
genres.
great. It's just really difficult.
Yeah, so we partnered up, or there's 3 other people. We all played locally and just went around and, beat the shit out of this kind of velociraptor dinosaur looking thing. And I can definitely see why it's a popular franchise. I don't think we went super deep into it. I mean, I didn't feel it was hard unless the demo was just dumbed down. I mean, we were basically just tanking the monster, just sitting there going, bah, 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 not moving or really trying to dodge anything. But it was a good time. So, I mean, the one AAA dev there, or publisher, Nintendo, I mean, they definitely had some cool stuff to look at. But nothing new, no new announcements. I mean, there's really, I think the only thing announced at PAX South was Ronin, which is going to be published by Devolver Digital. It's from one dude. It's kind of they call it a turn-based action platformer, if that makes sense, lumping those terms together. Typically with a turn-based, you're not thinking a lot of action or anything.
Yeah.
Well, what about the announcement from Gearbox that, they're going to start working on the next Borderlands? I mean, that's a big announcement.
Sure. I think I was hungover when they announced that. I'm not going to lie.
Kind of
I made
towards it, yeah. They didn't really say
They said they wanted
now.
people on it, didn't they?
Right. I mean, they didn't specifically say Borderlands 3, but they were just like, we're just looking for all sorts of different people. So if you're talented and you're in the field, Randy Pitchford was like, shoot me an email. And I think that's pretty awesome. And I really hope it's Borderlands 3. I really, really hope.
It was inevitable anyway. It was going to happen at some point.
Right. I mean,
Right.
It does
But
well. You can add numbers to the end of the title, so they'll keep cranking them out until we stop buying it.
But
Which
I
is
have
never.
to respect them for that, because at least they didn't push it out like some of these other franchises. At least they were just dedicated to their new IP that they're working on, and they were like, well, now that that's almost done, then, you know, we're going to start working on the next Borderlands. So I give them props for that instead of rushing into the next Borderlands. So.
True. The one
launch.
thing from Gearbox I did check out, though, was the also announced at PAX, the Homeworld Remastered Collection. This is another franchise I had never really heard of. I mean, it came out in 1999 and the sequel's in 2003. It's essentially a hardcore space RTS. But it obviously has a very diehard following because there's a bunch of people intrigued in the announcement that it's been remastered. And I got to talk with some of the devs from Relic that created it back in 99, and they've actually worked with Gearbox on this remaster. And it's a remaster in the same vein as what 343 achieved with Halo 1 and Halo 2. I mean, we're not talking just simple resolution upgrades or a few more textures here and there. I mean, it's a full-on overhaul. And the demo had the original running right next to the remastered version, so you could see exactly how much it's changed. And it's pretty drastic. Plus, I think it's $30 for 4 games. So not a bad deal. And it's going to have a multiplayer beta. They wanted me to stress that it's a beta. It's a work in progress. That's how they're releasing it. Smart move. Okay. Maybe 343 should have called the MCC multiplayer a beta and not actually tried to bill it as a finished product. So
most remasters,
but that was
now,
last year.
Most remasters are really quite cheap now, aren't they? Like, would you guys buy them if they were full price?
I will buy the Handsome Collection for $80 just to get both those games remastered.
Which one?
How much
the Handsome Collection for...
yeah. Just having that remastered with everything is totally worth $80.
Got it.
Yeah.
I'm a nostalgic chap, so I kind of like the remasters. I don't want too many games to just become remasters of old titles, but...
Well, I mean, but didn't we call it with Master Chief Collection that if it was, you know, if a lot of people bought into it and it became successful, that was like, weren't we going to see a trend of other games being re-released as HD remasters?
Yeah, the weird ones are the ones that like just came out on 360 or PS3, you know, like Last of Us, and then they're porting it over to the new things. I mean, I kind of want my remastered titles to come from original Xbox, Nintendo 64, and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, like that's the kind of stuff that we want to see. We don't necessarily care for something that's, you know, maybe came out in the last 7 to 5 years, maybe. I don't know.
Anyway, moving on with PAX. So yeah, checked out Homeworld Remastered. Checked out Nintendo. Now let's talk about some of the stuff that really impressed me. The game of the show for me is called Rebel Galaxy, and it's by a team called Double Damage. And when I say team, it's a duo. It's literally 2 dudes who created this game. And if and when you see this game, you're going to be like, there's no fucking way only 2 guys created it. I mean, it has AAA all over it, except it's from a 2-man studio. So what Rebel Galaxy is, think of Serenity mixed with like a Han Solo rogue type of character, mixed with Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag ship gameplay. That's Rebel Galaxy. It is fantastic. I mean, the main character is essentially your spaceship. I mean, there are off-ship gameplay activities, like you can go to space stations and dock and go to a bar and pick up missions and talk to the locals and whatnot. But you never really see your character. I mean, your character, it's not third-person view. It's not even like a first-person view. You just hit a space station. You're almost like a menu. Your character. You know, you hit a station, make dialogue choices. You know, you can choose to be a dick. You can choose to be good. You can choose to be neutral. So there's a little bit of that karma system at play. But like I said, the ship is your character. So the gameplay revolves around the ship. You upgrade it, you take it out into space, and you go complete objectives. My favorite part about it is because, I don't know about you guys, but with me, especially with flight games, when it requires you to use the pitch and the yaw and up is down and down is up and all that shit, it just, you know what, it gets too cumbersome. I'm not a fucking fighter pilot. I don't want to be one. I just want to kill stuff. That's what Rebel Galaxy allows you to do. It's a 3D world, but it's on a 2D plane. So there's no pitch involved. There's no diving and climbing. It's exactly like driving your pirate ship in AC4. I mean, you got to make, broad methodical moves to get your broadside cannons in line to start blasting other ships. You have an auto turret that you can also jump into and get more of a traditional FPS feel. But it's just a really fun game. I mean, I only played about 45 minutes, but this is a game I can wholeheartedly see myself dumping 50, 60 hours into, just having fun going out and blowing shit up with my big spaceship. So Rebel Galaxy, Double Damage, put it on your radar, people. You heard it from me. PS4, Xbox One, PC.
Space games are big now.
Yeah, it's not it's not like an Elite Dangerous. It's not like some of these other games I saw, like Stellar. I mean, it really feels like your ship is a character in the same way. Let's say like Commander Shepard or someone you take out and you build and grow upon and you kind of form an attachment with throughout the gameplay experience. So I enjoyed it. Like I was actually writing on my preview today. Got kind of bogged down in some other miscellaneous bullshit that Google got me involved in. So I didn't finish it, but I'll probably put it out tomorrow or Monday. It's great. I mean, like I said, it's probably my favorite game I played at the show. So everyone go check it out. You will not be disappointed. Yeah, one of the guys, Travis, he actually was the lead designer on Diablo and Diablo 2. So, I mean, these guys are from the big boys, just like most indies. They got disenfranchised with the big boys and wanted to make their own shit. So pretty cool. So the other one, another intriguing studio I met, they're called Serenity Forge. Now this is a team of 8 very young kids. I mean, I'd say some of them are probably even students still. They're probably like, Owen's age or something like that. I can call you guys young now because I'm almost halfway to 40 in my 30s, so time is running out for me.
Halfway to 40 in your third. The math on that sound right.
I'll be 35.
I followed him.
There you go.
Yeah. Justin, the number guy. I mean, if you ever need anything calculated or statistics, that's why we keep him around.
It's the only.
But anyways, lock me in the closet like Anna's dogs.
Yeah. Bean counter, just slide pizzas under there, some flounders, anything that fits under the door.
Oh, pizza, I'm game.
Yeah.
Like Ninja Turtles.
Cowabunga!
Pizza time.
So these guys, Serenity Forge, like I said, small studio, young, brilliant. They really put a focus on true to life physics in their games. So much so that they were invited to a NASA symposium to talk about astrophysics and how they're using it in their video games, which is pretty impressive. They got to meet Bill Nye, the Science Guy, and talk to a bunch of people that are way smarter than we can ever pretend to be. But they have 3 games on the horizon that are all definitely worth putting on your radar. One is called Luna's Wandering Stars. All right, so you're going, what the hell is that? It's not about some girl and not about stars that have wandered off.
It's not Luna from Harry Potter. It's not about her.
Not at all. The Luna is actually referring to the moon. Your character is a moon. Okay.
What was that lunar game on PS1 that was like 7 discs?
I have no idea. I don't know.
Did I just make something up?
Probably.
You sure did.
I'm gonna look this up.
Yeah. Put the crack pipe down. So anyways, Luna's Wandering Stars, like I said, you play as a moon, and you're in our solar system. So each of the levels is represented by our planets, and they kept Pluto in because why not? So what's interesting here is that the gameplay is unique on each planet thanks to physics, right? Mercury, gravity, and whatnot is different than what it is on Earth. Same can be said about Mars when you compare it to Earth. So when you go to each planet, you have to almost learn how to play the game again. In the most simplest of terms, what you do with your moon, you have to pick a trajectory by kind of holding down your mouse key, and you'll get this circle trail. And knowing what you know about the game's physics, once you let go, your moon literally just starts following a plane through the ether and it'll get in orbit and start picking up asteroids, which you need to move on to the next level. But let's say when you get to Earth, you don't do that anymore because Earth already has a moon. So now you got to use your mouse and just slide it right to left to kind of influence Earth's gravitational pull on the moon. So it's a very hard game to explain in words. I can tell you it's very fun to play and it's very smart. Like this isn't anything it's not like Angry Birds where the physics really isn't legit. I mean, everything in here is scientifically tested and approved by Bill Nye, the science guy. So that is Luna. That one's going to be PC and Mac. They were hoping to get it on Wii U, but I guess they just want to get it out on these platforms first. The next one is called The King's Birds.
Bill Nye hasn't played a game since Q*bert.
I miss Bill Nye. Does he still do his Saturday show? Like Saturday morning? Was it on Saturday mornings? I mean, I know you used to watch it all the time as a kid.
I think it was during the weekdays.
It was a weekday?
On like probably PBS or something.
Speaking of Saturday morning, do any of you see that Pee-wee is on Netflix now?
Yes.
No.
Did anyone watch Pee-wee when they were little kids?
Unfortunately.
Oh, dude, I love
Unfortunately.
that was like the greatest Saturday morning show in the world.
Why'd you watch?
I loved it.
My dad used to love it, so he was like, "Hey, you should watch this show," and I was like, "I think you shouldn't be watching this."
Let's create the word of the day. It'll be game. So anytime someone says game, we all have to yell. Nah, but okay. Random tangent, Budacast style. Back to the gamings. So anyways, the King's Bird. King's Bird. Yes! Ready for it. I knew it. I knew it.
Expected that.
Good job, team. Good job, team. Good job. So anyways, the King's Bird, completely different looking game than Luna's Wandering Stars. Now we're talking about a flat 2D side-scrolling world that it's all about the art. I mean, this game is literally art in motion. So if you're into the more retro-looking pixel art style games, you'll probably dig this one. It's got a little bit of platforming involved, some puzzles involved. Again, just looked beautiful. And then finally, they had something called Pixel Galaxy, which is, again, a completely different game. So you got this small studio that has 3 very unique games, all in development, all looking fantastic, all ready for our consumption. So you kind of get to give an indie studio credit when they diversify like that. Because let's face it, I mean, most indies, they'll find the genre and they'll stick to it. Even AAA now, I mean, they find a game series and they stick to it. They don't even try new genres or whatnot. I mean, they just belt out sequel after sequel after sequel. So I thought it was very impressive. Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, you have the tiny studio of young, brilliant people, and they somehow have enough forward thinking to go, all right, let's not just become the physics game studio. Let's try to show all our talents and aspects.
That's the ambition in them now. Give them a few years. Let the industry weigh them down.
Look at Anna getting a little half glass empty over there.
I mean, it's just natural. I mean, for the most part, it's just natural. It happens. You know, they bring something new and then they get all big. They get bought out. They get some money, and then there they go, popping the same shit out.
All right.
Yeah, just wait till they get one hit on their hands, then they'll just keep playing the same record.
Exactly.
Luna's Wandering Stars 10. Luna goes to the Andromeda Zone.
Listen, we're almost there with Assassin's Creed, so I mean, come on.
Yeah, with all the spin-offs, so it has to be close to 10. Shit.
I mean, anyways, tangent again.
Yeah, so just working through again, PAX South, Indie Land, which was great. I love indies. We're indie, so we get along with other indies. And the best part about indies is they appreciate you taking the time to come and talk to them. I mean, it's amazing. So it kind of makes me feel special.
I feel like the band that comes
other
off
games
the stage
to check
after
out.
the show.
Yeah, exactly. Other games to check out. This one's going to be PS4 and PC. It's called Paperbound. And it's kind of like Super Smash Brothers with a gravity button. So you can press a button that will flip gravity on you. So if you're on the ground, you press a button, you'll instantly float up to the top of this of the map, so on and so forth.
Interesting, you like it?
Oh, dude, it was a blast. I mean, I haven't played Smash Brothers in years, but it was just me and the lead developer playing. I mean, we were actually getting into it. I'm like, oh, you motherfucker. And he's like, you're just letting me win. And then he's like, no, I'm trying. And then I'm kicking his ass. And I could see he's like, all right, now I'm going to fucking really turn it up.
But and then you started playing for money.
Yeah, exactly. It's super simple. I mean, like I said, you've got an attack button. You can pick up a pair of scissors to throw, and that's it. And then you've got the whole anti-gravity or gravity changing mechanic. And you have an ink bomb too. So the key here is you got to rack up 10 kills, and then a tear will open up in the screen, and you got to jump through it. But if you get killed before you jump through your tear, guess what? You got to kill the person again to reopen the tear. So when you get like 4 people into this game, it turns into a extreme melee clusterfuck and lots of fun. I mean, I watched a group of PAX attendees play, and there's plenty of screaming, yelling, cheering, clapping, that type of game. So this is going to make a really fun party game, multiplayer game, local play game, and like I said, PS4, PC. And the cool thing is the developer's friends with other indies, so he has the license. He had the guy from Guacamelee was in there, or Guacamelee, that character was in there.
Nice.
He had some other characters from other games. I don't think Shovel Knight was in there, but that type of deal. I mean, he was bringing in characters from other indies that he was buddies with, and they're letting him use the likeness without charging them. And
that's nice, isn't it?
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it was cool. I mean, it was just, again, a cool game. Another cool one, Adventures of Pip. This thing's literally coming out for every game machine on the planet. I mean, you will be able to play this game. If you can't play some of these other indies because they're PC only, you know what? It probably works for that too. But I mean, this thing's PS4,
Atari Lynx,
Xbox One, PC, Mac, Linux. I mean, it's everywhere. And what Adventures of Pip is, you live in a world that is regulated by pixels, okay? And Pip is born as a single pixel, so he's more or less a loser outcast. I mean, he's literally a block, all right? And then to put it into perspective, the king of Pip's home world, or Pixelonia is what they call it, he's 32-bit. So you can kind of see there's like a caste system. Those in the lower bits are kind of frowned upon, and like the dredges of society, and those with higher bits are royalty and important people. So
that's really good.
It's awesome, dude, because I mean, you level Pip up, so you kill these certain enemies, and he gets energy. So he goes from 8-bit to 8-bit, and then he can go from 8-bit to 16-bit. And with each jump in bits, he gains more powers. But with the puzzle gameplay, I mean, it's a side-scroller platformer, but there are some puzzles. It'll require you to de-evolve. So let's say you're 16-bit Pip, but you need to get through a little corridor, something that you're too tall to fit in. You can de-evolve yourself down to a little square to get back through that section. So
what would you compare it to?
Amazing.
I asked the guys, I'm like, what's your inspiration here? And they're like, Ghosts and Goblins, Super Mario Brothers, stuff like that. So it's a love letter to old school 8-bit platformers.
There was a game that tried something like you start off in like the old 8-bit era, and then you get like more to the PS1 era. I can't remember what it was called. Something Evo something.
Yeah.
Does the whole aesthetic change when you level up? Like, does the
whole... just your character. So like I said, you're literally a square, and then you go to an 8-bit, so you're more squares, but you can actually see a body, and then you go to 16-bit, and now you get you actually have color in the eye and that type of stuff. But the actual world itself maintains it. It's still kind of a pixel art looking world, but it does not grow with you or advance with you. So, cool
I'm
stuff.
looking that up right now. The art style on that looks amazing.
Yeah, that's really interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, no, like I said, I mean, it's all the games I played. There's only one that I'm not even going to talk about. I don't think it's fair. I really don't think the developer should even been at PAX showing it off, because it was completely unfinished, and it looked like a mess. I mean, it was a fucking mess. And I met with him and I played the game, and I'm just going in the back of my head that there's no way to spin this in a positive light. So I think I'm just going to pretend I didn't have this meeting type of deal.
Oh yeah.
But everything else was just ace, as Owen would say. So a few more, and then we'll kind of get into games we're actually playing, get off the whole PAX South train. But the other ones that I think you should probably put on your radar. Those of you that are into speed runs or just leaderboards in general, there's a game called Jump Jet Rex coming out. It started as a game jam game back over the summer, I think, and it got enough play and enough support that it's now going to be a full-fledged game. It's essentially, you are a T-Rex that has jet shoes, shoes that essentially allow you to hover and whatnot. And you have to get through levels as fast as you possibly can by collecting rings and not dying. So there are checkpoints in the level. So it's not a complete bust if you do die, but it's kind of a mix of, again, a platformer. There's some definite Mega Man influence in there, especially with the bosses. I mean, just even the look of the game is very Mega Man-ish. And those of you that like to collect stuff, in-game items, the guy told me there's 3 million combinations of in-game items, to collect.
And then he died.
Yeah, so...
Was that like a cough burp?
yeah, we're just keeping things natural here.
How do you collect stuff with small T-Rex arms?
I was thinking
Good
the
point.
same thing. Maybe he
But,
has like...
you can change the color of his shoes, his shirt, his helmet, so on and so forth. So it is a very charming game. But like I said, this is a game where if you are in the speed runs and making the top of the leaderboards, you may or may not have a few rage moments. I believe they're creating a difficulty called Rage Quit. So, I mean, it's that type of game, super Meat Boy-ish, where you just go till you find the best path through the level possible. So
When that comes out, Matt, you'll know where I'll be.
Are you into those type of games?
Yeah, unfortunately. Not Dark Souls, but like arcadey difficult ones I am.
Did you hear that The Witcher 3's meant to be, that they're considering a system where it's like an insane difficulty where it'll delete your save if you die?
Oh, what? Fuck it. Come on.
I read it today. or
Oh,
yesterday.
God.
Yeah.
There will be someone that will beat it. You know there will.
That sounds brutal.
I think I'm dying over here.
Running the gamut, Matt.
That cat just, he literally just dusted my nose with his tail. So he probably he just sprinkled some AIDS into my nose, I think. Oh, hold on. Let me get composed here.
Yeah, but Diablo did something like that too, where, what is it? You can only die once and then the whole thing's over.
That's like on the super...
So extreme.
Yeah, Dead Space, I think Dead Space 2 and 3 had that same thing where you have to play, you only get one save or something like that.
Yeah.
Or Devil May Cry, when they did it was one hit per, if you get one hit, you instantly die. If they get one hit, they instantly die. But if you die, you restart the entire back to the beginning, which that was the hardest thing I've ever played.
You did it. Did you do it?
Did you finish the game?
Not on that difficulty. Hell no. I tried. I got about, I think, the level or chapter 5.
Is that Son of Sparta difficulty?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, good for you.
I used to be a diehard achievement whore, and I probably would have done shit like they're offering now, but I've gotten over that. I really don't even have the time to do it anymore. But I would get in lobbies with people and be like, hey, you want to boost some achievements? And we'd go in the multiplayer and just run at each other for 3 hours on end, shooting each other with a certain gun that we had to get for an achievement. So I get the appeal. I do. There was a strong addiction, but I pretty much capped out 120,000 gamer score on the Xbox platform. And I think my trophy level's at like 12 or 13 on PlayStation. Still don't have a damn platinum on PlayStation because back then I played all my multi-platform on 360, so all my perfects are on that, and none on the PlayStation environment. So I feel like a pussy. All right, one other game I want to bring up, and this, I know some people are very, very hesitant about free to play, especially mobile games for tablets, iOS, whatnot. The game's called Moonrise, and it's a creature collector RPG. I've put up my preview for it on Wednesday, I believe. It's from Undead Labs and Kabam, and it's pretty fucking fantastic. I mean, excuse my French, but it is free to play, not pay to win. You can buy tickets and coins and whatnot to help unlock things faster, but you'll never be forced to spend a single dollar if you just play it the way it is designed. And like I said, it's kind of like a Pokemon MMO. So it is a multiplayer RPG where you collect these things called Solari, which are creatures, and they can fight for you against the Lunari, which are poison Solari that you have to save, and maybe they'll come hang out with you when you save them and that type of shit.
You gotta catch them all.
No, you got to acquire the majority of them, is their slogan.
Yeah, you can have 6 in your party at any time, but only 2 can fight with you. You play as a warden who looks, I mean, they kind of look like hipsters or punk rockers, but...
Don't be a pokey pooper, David.
Yeah. I don't know shit about Pokemon. I mean, again, this is a game that...
You lost me at hipster, sorry.
Where did Pokemon make its debut? Was it the Game Boy Advance, the color?
No, the Game Boy.
I think it was
The original Game Boy, like the fucking shit screen one?
Yep, red and blue.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, never got into that. I must have just missed that, being born in the 1980. For some reason, that game just never came
So
up on my
good.
radar.
play for hours.
But Moonrise, from what I heard from people, they're like, yeah, this is very Pokemon-like, so I'm into it. It's free. It's going to be coming out for iOS, Android. It's going to have cross-device support, so if you start a game on Android and then you trade in for a better Apple device, you can pick up and continue your journey and not going to lose any of your progress. If you play on your phone, you can pick it up on your tablet and continue your journey. So keep that on your mobile games radar. I mean, I'm a fan of mobile games, especially when I'm sitting on the toilet.
Yeah, we know your Star Wars, whatever.
I had to give up on Star Wars Tiny Death Star because it
Stopped
literally
it, right?
it glitched itself out, and yeah, it's no longer being supported. So I was so damn close to having everything completed. Trust me, it was a punch in the nuts when it glitched. But I moved on. Now I'm playing Star Wars Commander, which is Clash of Clans Star Wars style. Boom Beach, which is from the Clash of Clans guys.
I'm all about Clash of Clans.
Well, yeah, then you'll love. I mean, how could you not like Star Wars Commander then? I mean, you at the beginning, you pick you're either going to be a rebel or the Empire, and then it's Clash of Clans.
I can only be dedicated to one. I can't.
But that's the beauty of free to play. So listen, you start, you make your moves on Clash of Clans, then you got to wait, right? Well, now go to Star Wars and make more moves. I mean,
they depend on me. I can't let them down.
I mean, that's what I don't get. Where people are like, fucking free to play sucks. I hate it. I'm like, why? I mean, a SimCity Build It, for example. It's probably the best SimCity I've played in years, and it's free. I haven't spent $1, and I have a bustling metropolis now. But it's because I play these things in short spurts. I mean, I'm not expecting to sit down for an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours. I make my moves, wait for the time to kick in, and then later on in the day, I'll whip it out for another quick 10, 15 minutes of gameplay. So I'm a big fan of free to play on mobile. I've got no problems with it. I mean, people that have issues with it, I could see the point where, yeah, I'd rather just pay a fee for SimCity, say, rather than having to earn money or buy in-game money to get some of the special buildings. But I'm not going to bitch and moan about a free game.
If you're going to do a free-to-play game, I wish they would just have the option of free, and then if you want to buy the microtransactions or pay like $10 and get all of it, because I would have continued playing
that's
more
what
of
I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I mean, they should just have, all right, here's the free version. Okay, here's a special subscribers fee. If you give us $10-15, all the bullshit's unlocked. Otherwise, you got to buy it a la carte when you need it. So.
Well, that's the nice thing. The nice thing that what World of Warcraft did, it's not that crappy, you have to make small microtransactions. It's you pay like a flat fee per month, and then you get the whole game.
It'll be interesting to see what the Elder Scrolls Online's like, because it's dropping its subscription, because I think in March it drops it all around.
Everyone knew that was going to happen eventually.
Yeah. There's still a pay level, and you get some shit first or access to stuff first, but it's pretty much going to be free now outside of buying the game. So I did go to the Killing Floor 2 panel, and those guys are great. Again, the lead dude, he's British, so obviously he was talking. It just sounded awesome. He was very, very salty, apologized right when he started about his language, and he definitely was cussing it up like a true Brit. I mean, he just straight up slammed the Ouya. I mean, just out of nowhere, he's like, "Oh yeah, the Ouya," and just shit all over it. It was fantastic. But the great thing from the panel was in Killing Floor 2, they literally created new systems. One is called the meat system. It's literally how you can. Each zombie now has 22 points of dismemberment. And then they also created a new game trope called persistent blood. So essentially now when you go into a Killing Floor 2 room and lay waste to all these zombies and infected,
And
the blood will just just keep piling up and up and up and up and up. It'll never disappear. Plus, you can shoot out lights and lights will change the gameplay
with blood.
Oh yeah, it's everywhere. I mean, you can't like swim in it, but you can just paint an entire room in blood and it will not.
Does
not
frame rate not
That's
just like
awesome.
die?
Well,
My
dude, they
video
were only
card will not handle
showing.
it.
Yeah, they were only showing the video. I mean, they weren't actually doing real gameplay. But if you like
that
first
sounds
Killing Floor, you're gonna love Killing Floor 2. Again, I haven't played much of the first one. It's a mod based off of Unreal. Yeah, but the fans there, I mean, I kind of just judged how they reacted to it, and they seemed very excited. So, Killing Floor 2, and that, in a nutshell, is PAX South, or my trip. Throughout maybe the weekend, if I don't feel like being lazy, and definitely next week, I'll slowly start rolling out more of my preview pieces. It's just been rough this week with a few little surprises Google gave us on the website that I had to attend to on the back end, and then life happens. So
Then there's
I haven't
Kitten
gotten
Bowl.
them all out yet. Yeah. What's that?
Then there's Kitten Bowl.
I can't wait for Kitten Bowl. Hosted by the lovely Beth Stern, who I am going to get one of her foster kittens one day. If you guys aren't into the Howard Stern universe or whatever, I mean, that's his wife, and she literally, because he won't have a kid with her, she just brings home foster kittens all the time and puts them on Instagram. And if you love cats, I'm not scared to sound, like less of a man, but it's just very cute to go on her Instagram and see these fucking kittens. And I'm going to get one day because I have an inside track. So,
He has
gang,
the inside
we got
connection to kittens. That's great.
Yeah. We've got a couple more minutes. I figured it's a good time to kind of go around and maybe discuss either a video game we're playing or maybe something else in the realm of entertainment Buddha's geekiness that you've taken notice of and want to share. So anyone want to start with a game they're playing or something interesting to share in the geek space?
I went back to Space Engineers yesterday. I don't know if you guys played it. Have you played it at all? Anyone?
No.
So good. So good.
Is it a simulator? Is it like Elite
it's a PC
Dangerous
game.
type of stuff?
It's strictly PC at the minute, but it is coming to Xbox One, I believe. It's literally like the simplest way of putting it would be Minecraft in space, but it's so much
Really?
deeper than that.
So, are you like building spaceships and space
you build
stations?
spaceships, build, space stations. People have built like Millennium Falcon and like.
So, is it voxel based looking?
Yes.
Is it that blocky? Okay.
Yeah, it's voxel based, but it's brilliant. No, it's really good. I recommend it.
I wonder if Notch gets any royalties on all these games that came out and essentially replicated what he created. Not that he
Anything
gives a
that's
fuck now.
exciting just goes right to his bank account.
Yeah, he doesn't. That guy, I think he just outbid Jay-Z for a mansion. If that tells you anything about being in game design these days, if you have a good idea.
You're seeing all like the copies and that. Copies of games.
Who knows? He gets pissed off at weird shit. He was really butthurt over Facebook acquiring the Oculus Rift. So, but whatever. He's rich as fuck now and has a house that's probably the size of my entire neighborhood. So good for him.
Do you think he sits in his house and builds a house in Minecraft?
I think he sits there and laughs at everyone that has devoted their lives to the game he created. Just like, he laughs that all the way to the bank, man.
That he made in
it is an
Minecraft?
ingenious game idea. That shit is just nuts.
He was making another, wasn't he? And then he just stopped.
You know what? I liked Minecraft better when we called it Legos. Just saying.
You like Minecraft in real life. You're all about that realism and not the fake shit.
Yeah, you can still blow up Legos.
I mean, that's another game that I've hardly played. It's a patience thing. You know, I just want shit to be up and built. I don't really want to do the building, so it kind of defeats the purpose of the game. All right, cool. Well, how about David? Any game? Oh, you have a game to talk about, I believe, that you've been playing.
Dying Light. I'm addicted. But I'm rushing through it. You know, we're still working on the review, but it has to be one of my favorite games now. I'll be playing that for a while. Unfortunately, I have Evolve coming up too, which I got to devote time to once that comes out. But in the meantime, it is. Check out the review in a few days when it's
Dying
out.
Light all the way, huh?
Dying Light and IDARB. Yeah.
IDARB. Yeah. I do want to check out IDARB, which is going to be free in February for games with gold or Xbox Live gold.
It's free now over here.
When it comes out, we got to get
days.
everyone. Yeah, we got to get everyone on a team and like 2 teams of 4 and just have like a Entertainment Buddha head to head on IDARB. That'll be amazing.
As long as we can make our own characters, which I think we can, right?
Yeah.
What I want to know is, I mean, obviously it's because they're so pixelated, but I mean, doesn't it have just a ton of characters from other properties in there already?
Yeah, it even has everyone on the Escapist website. They even created a team for just them. So you can go play as Benyati Croshaw, which is amazing.
Gotcha. That's Owen's buddy. What's the name of his series?
Zero Punctuation.
Yeah, they are
very dumb.
They are very funny. I'm not gonna. We used to put a lot of that stuff out when it was just me, and I struggled to find content. But yeah, he's good. I mean, I like his sense of humor. It's very dry and in your face.
Rips everything.
Yeah. How about you, Anna? Anything interesting going on in Florida? Any games you're playing? Or
Well, I actually took it way back to Assassin's Creed 3.
Holy shit! What the hell are you doing
this-
in that mess?
Well, I never played the Tyranny of King Washington.
Oh yeah.
So I finally went back to it, and I have to say that there were elements of that DLC that should have been in the game, and they were so fucking stupid to not do that, because in Assassin's Creed 3, you didn't really need such a deep origin story for Connor. I mean, you didn't even have to play as Haymoth. Like, you could have just gone straight into his story and maybe had a little bit of flashbacks or whatever, and just incorporated some more of his roots that you get to experience throughout the game. And I mean, it was really cool. He drinks this tea, and when he drinks this tea kind of like hallucinates, but he gains these animal powers. So like, you can become invisible, and that's like your wolf ability, or the eagle, and you can fly to different points, and you can do assassinations that way, or you could be a bear. And I thought that was really cool because, you know, Native Americans are very spiritual like that, and they're very into, you know, they're very one with animals and respecting the balance of things. And I wish that's something that they would have actually.
Is Connor still a whiny douche like Anakin Skywalker?
He's not really whiny. Like, it's strange because he wakes up and he's just like, well, what's this about King Washington? That's not the Washington I remember. And his mom was still alive, and he's like, why is my mom still alive? She was dead.
Yeah, I can see that being pretty fun. After the main game, I had enough. I still have to look at that damn statue I got with the collector's edition of him. Which, I mean, it's a cool statue, but the guy's a loser.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't crazy. I'm still not crazy about 3, but I think if they would have just taken some of that from the DLC and put that in the game.
Do you think it's better than Unity?
Oh, please don't mention. I mean, I'm sorry. Like, my save,
after she had that save debacle, you can't even bring it up. It's like
I mean, and the DLC. I mean, I played the DLC for Unity, and I mean, Arno is still like, he's up there with Connor. Like, I could care less about Arno, but the DLC was way better than
give me
the
Edward
actual
Kenway
game.
Any day. That guy is a pimp.
Assassin's Creed 2 will always be my favorite entry in the series, and that's it. Like, and I like Black Flag, But
I still like the first one, but everyone always makes fun of me for liking that one. They're like, "Oh, it had so many fucking problems." Like, well, how'd you know it was the first fucking one? You didn't. That was the game. I mean, I like that one.
Usually, the first entry of the series, like it sets everything up. But I mean, there's still kinks to work out, and it wasn't bad, but I like the improvements that they did, and I really liked Ezio's story just because you got to learn so much in a short amount of time. And sorry, I can't hear you over my dog scratching. I'm sorry.
Shake it out. Shake it out.
Seriously, they're like driving me crazy. They're doing anything and everything to get my attention. Benson's is gonna be so mad.
My stomach's trying to get my attention. I can feel it. I feel like it's in my throat.
But yeah,
right now.
I mean, I went back to that, and I don't know what I'm gonna get to next. So,
Julio. How about you, Mr. Ludwig?
I'm in the same boat that Anna's in. I'm
going retro.
I'm waffling over what I need to play. I have I was thinking about it the other night. There's 30 games in my backlog that I want to get to, but then I was looking at what's coming out in the near future.
It's so depressing. I know exactly what you mean. I mean, I just.
But it's
it becomes more and more depressing to be a gamer because the backlog just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
But it's I don't want to commit myself to anything because then Majora's Mask will come out and then
right, and that's going to be at least 4 weeks of dedicated gameplay.
And then by the summer, or what is it? Final Fantasy VII is going to come out for PlayStation 4, and then Arkham Knight's going to come out, and
it's been we've had a nice lull for the most part. I mean, it always happens. Once December comes around, then January, there's nothing coming out, so that's been nice. But February is going to pick up again. I mean, like David said, we got Evolve coming out. I'm interested in the order. Even everyone else is writing it off.
I think it looks good
without even playing it. I mean, I love gamers. That's why I love the gaming population because they'll just completely shit on something by seeing a video. Or through hearsay, oh yeah, I checked it out. It's a piece of shit. Opinions are fine. We're all going to have our own, but just make sure you have actually played something before you shape opinion. Or I just don't get how you can have an opinion about a game without actually playing.
I don't think being cinematic ruins a game, and that's what most people seem to be thinking about the order.
I mean, dude, it's fucking Gears of War 1, and that's one of my most favorite games of all time. So I'm gung ho, and it looks fantastic. So sign me up. So yeah, February is going to be a little bit busier then, and then it's just it's going to just start tumbling on and on all the way till we hit October, and then it's just going to be that mess again as it was in 2014 with a bunch of shit coming out.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be smarter this year, and I'm just gonna hold off on a lot of purchases. I mean, I was excited about Evolve, but something just changed in me, and now I don't care.
Hey, I'll tell you what. I mean, it's going to be Titanfall. There's no doubt about it.
I'm
people are going to love it for about 2 months, and then it's going to be like, okay, it's the same shit over and over. But the mobile app that just came out yesterday is fantastic. Evolve Hunter's Quest.
You know about that matching game?
They do?
Get it now. I mean, it's basically Bejeweled. It's like a Bejeweled RPG. I mean, I'm not kidding. and your experience and whatnot can progress over into the main game.
Oh, that's cool.
It's free. I'm telling you, I was obviously very cynical. We got the press release. I did a news post on it. I'm like, this looks fucking stupid, but I mean, it's definitely going on my rotation of games to fire up throughout the day and just spend a couple minutes.
Games to play on the pooper.
You got it. I'm gonna write a novel one day about that.
You should make a post about like the top 5 or 8 games to play on the porcelain
M4G
throne.
would love it. Yeah, I mean, except when we do sensational titles, people report it as lame and say we're being sensational, even though all that fucking site does is promote sensationalism. Let's not even get started. I mean, I could dedicate a whole Bootycast to that site.
No, that would be getting sensational, Matt. Come on.
Yes. All right, so
you just have to put like an interesting title on it, and then people will just go off on it, and then it'll get it to like 2000.
No, it just has to be sensational. The Xbox One is for fucking dummies.
There you go.
Like that. PS4 is for fucking smart people. I mean, that's what they like over there. Just be very inflammatory.
Post it on Reddit and
let's not even get on Reddit too. That's another. I've actually I was trained by Owen on how to get my karma and whatnot up, and I have actually built it up. I think I'm almost at 3,000.
Nice.
But
wow.
It's not even worth. I mean, I've essentially what I was doing. I mean, over the years I've built up so many sources for crap, stuff that people like to put on Reddit. So I always get this stuff, and I was throwing it up there, and then an hour later I'd see it on a website before I could actually get it out. So now I've kind of cut down on fueling Reddit's web gems and geek art type of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, they told Owen straight up if we put our stuff on there, they're gonna spam it. They're gonna flag it as bullshit. So I don't even try.
It needs to be like 10% of what you post. And then
Which is why I'm trying to work it over, and I'm building up all this karma. But I've sprinkled one Buddha post per probably 30 shares. Gone.
It's scary losing your account like that, especially you worked it so hard.
Yep. See you later. So whatever. I would love to figure out Reddit, because obviously it can yield a shitload of traffic, and there's no doubt about it. Okay, so on to what I've been playing. This is going to be out there for you science fiction fans, and especially fans of RTS, classic RTS. When I classic RTS, I'm talking, StarCraft, Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds, that type of stuff, where you have resources, structures, and units. Okay, so Grey Goo is the name of this title, and the name may sound kind of chintzy. I interviewed a dev at PAX South, and that was one of my questions. Like, so where the hell did Grey Goo come from? And lo and behold, it's an actual scientific term. You can look it up right now. Grey Goo is a legit scientific term about some sort of crazy space shit. So that's what I've been playing. It's from published by Gearbox, developed by Petroglyph, but it is an RTS. It features a fantastic campaign, 3 different factions. You kind of all play each one, and it all makes sense. You start with the betas, who are these aliens, but they're kind of like humans. Then there's humans who are so evolved they're almost like aliens, if that makes sense. And then, of course, there is the Grey Goo, which is literally a pile of goo that's so advanced it doesn't even need buildings or power or anything. It just splits itself off like cells would do in a human body, to replicate that way versus having to build a factory to build a tank. So each faction features unique gameplay. It's pretty easy to pick up and play. The punishing's a little rough, not gonna lie. I've been playing a campaign on easy because a lot of times when I get a review copy, I know I got to get it out in a decent amount of time. I'm not going to sit there and try to be, Billy Biceps and throw it on the hard setting just to say, I'll beat it on hard. Nah, fuck that. But anyways, I put this on easy, and I was getting my ass kicked until I started to learn kind of some of the tricks of the system. But I'll have the review out next week. But if you've been looking for an RTS that kind of is going to give you that StarCraft fix, I think that this game is for you. Like I said, Weta of Hobbit fame and other movie fame, they did all the design. The aliens look rad. The transmission segments before missions, it literally looks like a real human is sitting against a green screen, but it's all CG. It's just a top-notch game from a studio you might not have heard of. And outside of the name, it's fantastic. I still think the name, when you hear Grey Goo, they may not take it super seriously. At least I didn't. But after putting about 8 hours into the campaign at this point, a few skirmish matches, I've got nothing but positive things to say about it. There's a few little issues here and there, but it is a good time. So go check that out. Grab it on Steam. It's out now. Grey motherfucking Goo. All right. Well, it is, according to my clock, it's time to go to B-Dubs and have some beer. So I think that means we're going to go ahead and put this shit show to bed, if we will. So let's go around the table here. If you have anything to plug, social networks, whatever, Buddha, let it rip. Justin, let's hear him.
Just go to www.entertainmentbuddha.com. It's all there. Everything's there.
My man. How about you, David? Anything you want to plug, share, promote?
Feel free to jump on for co-op on Dying Light, Xbox Live, 6 Night, or find me on Twitter, 6 Night Steam. But I'll be mostly on Dying Light for
do you stream that?
I'm hoping to. if I can get my Xbox work again with streaming and everything else. But at the moment, I'm not. I want to be.
Yeah, the one shitty thing about Xbox and Twitch is that it literally locks your ID to the Twitch channel. So that's why we all can't just use the built-in Xbox One app if we want to stream Xbox One games. That's why you need something like Elgato, which is kind of a bummer. We're on PS4, you can just plug in the account and you're good to go.
Exactly. I tried it. It says on the Xbox that it's streaming live, and I checked the stream on the computer, and it's like, nope, total lie.
Yeah. I don't think it's as flaky as Upload Studio, but I've had many times where I literally have to kill the Twitch app and restart it for it to even do anything good. So,
Yeah.
All right, Miss Anna and the dogs. Anything to plug?
You can follow me on Twitter at Febzilla. I tweet random shit, tweet about games. Lately, it's been about BioShock Infinite because I'm obsessed with that game. And like Justin said, go to entertainmentbuddha.com. It's all there.
Blidow. Okay, and Owen.
I don't really have anything to say, like, but I've got a Life is Strange review coming up a couple of days or so. That should be up. As a hint, it's a very good game. Okay.
Yeah, if you like looking at stuff in boxes, Owen is a subscriber of many box subscription services. So check out he just did a Z box deal. He's got the indie box. I think he's got a geek box or something else. I mean, you never know.
Box.
Speaking of boxes, I just became a founders member of the recently announced Marvel Collector Core. So I'll be unboxing those bad boys in addition to the loot crates. I'll be doing the loot crate one tomorrow. I got it this week, but I haven't had time to do the video. And considering only 10 people watch it, who gives a shit? Who gives a fuck? So I am Matt Haywood. You can follow me on Twitter at Matt R. Haywood, and that's Haywood with an E, not an A. Yes, E's can make the sound names as A's when you put them in between an H and a Y. Just try it out sometime. So at Matt R. Haywood. Like all these people said, just go to entertainmentboo.com. Right on the right side, you're going to see all of our socials. Get signed up, follow us. We'll give you shit. We'll entertain you, hopefully. If you like listening to my voice, you can check me out most evenings on the RAR app. So at Get RAR. I do little RAR broadcasts, and I try to.
I think those are the funniest thing ever because when he starts them, he's always like RAR.
Oh yeah, I get very radio voicey on those, but I have a decent following. I'm slow. I think I'm up to like 130 followers. It really is a great little social platform. It's an app you just throw on your phone, fire up, and you can just start talking live to people that want to listen. So check out RAR. Give me a follow on that bad boy.
The shout out for the radio voice goes to David for his video.
Oh yeah, he's got it too. That's what he said. That's what we talked early on. I mean, the staff has exploded literally over the past 8 weeks. So we need to start finding niches for people to kind of extend the site's reach. So, and one of the top two in my mind are going to be YouTube and Twitch. And obviously with someone like David, I think we're on a good track to turn our YouTube around in the year because his IDAR video it's what you want to watch on YouTube. It's quick. There's some wit in there. He had a great delivery. He sprinkled in some other images that really weren't from the game to kind of make his points. It was great. So hopefully we'll have more of that type of content to look for in 2015 with my lovely new staff. So as always, people, make sure to go to entertainmentboo.com on a daily basis because we will make you a better geek one post at a time, whether you want to be or not. So this is Matt Haywood signing off for another Buddhacast, our PAX South extravaganza and random shit Buddhacast. Good night, everyone. See ya.